Shalom, shalom. I'm the brother of Marakab. But first and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakab Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and the Akim out there that are pushing the truth with nothing but sincerity. In the name of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai. Start off from the tribe of Judah all the way down to Issachar. If I didn't say double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. So I was watching this movie yesterday and I just want to speak on it though, fair use, fair use. I'm not promoting this movie. I'm just getting some, trying to share some edification, for the sake of it. And like I said, I ain't promoting this movie, nothing like that though, man. So, anyways, just to give a little, summary on about the movie though. It's about these three, Jake though. They go into this fence community, to go to a party. Jake likes to party though. To do a shortcut, right? They got to go to a party though, and the freeway was a lot of traffic though. So what happened was, they hit the cuts. They went a shortcut, and in order, there was a community, fence community though, right, where Edomites live. So, this young girl, opened up the gate for them though. So they were able to drive through because they wanted to go to the party for through there. It was going to be a shortcut. So. Anyways, it goes to find out that, this chick right here, is one of the main characters, one of them. They saw a murder, though, they saw a murder, and it was this Edomite preacher that murdered that young girl that opened up the gate for them. And so, because they were walking up to his mansion to ask him if they could open up the gate, though, so they could get out of the community. But as they were walking up, they saw a commotion, and then they saw that Edomite preacher, which you'll see right now, push this girl and hit her head though, and so he killed her though. And so yeah, just throughout the movie though, this Edomite preacher, he's like one of those big preachers though. I'm talking about having gonna build a mega church though type though. So anyways, these Jakes escaped though, and this Edomite preacher started chasing him, and he broke into this Jake's house. And what he says though is what I'm gonna make the video on though. So
you're so full of shit. I'm named after Jacob, founder of the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob was born the younger brother to Esau, who, being the firstborn, was entitled to the birthright and all the blessings that came along with it. You know why you've never met anyone named Esau? Because Jacob stole that birthright. He conspired to...
Which was bullshit, which I'll get into it though, but yeah.
Deceive his blind father, and he took what was his, because he was not called upon to simply let God's will be done. He was called upon to seize his destiny. That church is my destiny. I'm here for my birthright. Just tell him, I'm not going to do that.
See, so anyway, that's what I wanted to speak on though, because they always want to say Jacob stole, he supplanter, so I can't say it right though, but they always say that he stole it though. No, man. So the thing about it though, they always want to talk about so this is spiritual too, because you don't really hear the story about Jacob and Esau, man. Now it's being known though about that story though. So he even talked about the 12 tribes and all these things, all right? So it's because being in the world, we rarely, when you're in the world, you will hear about the story about Moses, of course, Yahweh Shai, what I'm saying though, Mary, and I'm saying just those two, King David. You barely heard about King David though, but you never heard the story about Jacob and Esau, right? So now it's being known, man. Who's the one pushing this truth though? Who's the one about Jacob and Esau? It's the Great Millstone, man. You know what I'm saying though? If it wasn't for them and the brothers, us teaching though, they wouldn't be not known about Jacob and Esau, man. But since we're pushing this truth though, and we're talking about everything though, it's being known though. So now it's like they gotta talk about Jacob and Esau now. You know what I'm saying though? Because it's overwhelming though now that everyone's talking about Jacob and Esau though, man. Because like I said though, you would just hear about the story of Moses and Yahushua and King David barely, and of course King David and the Goliath story though, and that's about it though, man. But you didn't hear about Jacob. I didn't even know who Jacob and Esau was until I came into the truth though, man. And that's a big deal. You know what I mean? A big deal though. It's from who's good and who's evil, man. You know what I'm saying though? So, anyways, like I say, you hear about this Edomite. His name is Jacob though, but he, like I say, he's like, but Esau, no one's gonna steal my birthright because he was trying to make a church though in his community though, man. You know what I'm saying though? So he has that Esau spirit though, man. Anyway, so going to the scriptures though, everyone wants to talk about this account though about that he stole it and things like that though. But what about when over here though, right? So this story about right here though, because when he sold his birthright, Esau, right? So let's go into it a little bit though. Genesis 25 and 27. Let's just get there. It says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter and a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in his tents. We know about Esau. They like to hunt, man. They'll kill. They're all prideful when it comes to the bigger the animal, the more prideful they are though. They kill for sport, man. You know what I'm saying though? Shit, you kill to survive and eat though, but these guys kill like a sport, man. You know what I'm saying though? So who's out in the fields out there and being hunters and all that? Esau. And man of a field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Yeah, we just like to chill, man. Chill at the house and shit though. You know what I'm saying though? We just like to chill, man. We ain't out there skydiving, bungee jumping, rock climbing and shit. That's all Esau's characteristics though, man. We just like to chill, man. You know what I'm saying though? Hey, we got some good music, good drinks though. Hey, we good, man. Hey, we got a fucking drink. We got some drinks though. We got music and shit though. We got a woman though, man. We good, man. We chilling though, man. You know what I'm saying though? So it says, and Isaac loved Esau, but he did eat of his vengeance. But Rebekah loved Jacob, and Jacob sought pottage, right? Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name Edom. So let's get it in the NLT though, Let's get it in the NLT. Yeah, this is right here. Let's get it in the NLT. It says, and the boys grew up. Esau became a skillful hunter. He was an outdoorsman. See? Esau. But Jacob had a quiet temperament, preferring to stay at home. Isaac loved Esau because he enjoyed eating the wild game Esau brought home. Whatever he hunted though. Esau brought home, but Rebekah loved Jacob. One day when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau arrived from the wilderness exhausted and hungry. Esau said to Jacob, I'm starved, give me some of that red stew. Yeah, it says this is how Esau got his other name Edom, which means red. So that shit wasn't even cooked though, man. Like he was about to die though. He was just give it to me though. But it goes to show another characteristics of Esau that they eat their food red though, man, not fully cooked though. So it goes to show there's another characteristic though that Esau has though, man. This is how Esau got his other name Edom, which means red. See? All right, Jacob replied, but trade me your rights as the firstborn son. It says, look, I'm starved, I'm dying of starvation, said Esau. What good is my birthright to me now? See, so they made a deal. You know what I mean? They made a deal. But Jacob said, first you must swear that your birthright is mine. So Esau swore an oath, thereby selling his rights as the firstborn to his brother Jacob. Then Jacob gave some bread and lent a stew. Esau ate the meal, then got up and left. He showed contempt for his rights as his firstborn. See? So this nigga gave his birthright though. But it was all at the will of the Lord anyways though, man. You know what I'm saying though? So he gave his birthright though. You know, he sold it. They made a deal. Regardless though, they made a deal though. You know what I mean though? Because I googled right here. What was the birthright that Esau sold to Jacob? It says included a double portion of their father's Isaac physical property and wealth. But remember, Jacob had to leave, man, because remember what Esau told him. When our father dies, he's gonna kill him. So he bounced though, right? It says the right to become the head and leader of the family clan after Isaac died. And then a spiritual legacy, the special covenant and promises that God made to Abraham, which included the land and a blessed lineage. See? Promise God made to Abraham, which included a land and blessed lineage. See? So, us Israelites, though, man. You see what I'm saying, though? So, therefore, this was never for Esau, man. You know what I'm saying, though? This was never for Esau, man. And the blessings, though, when he gave to them, how they. But you got to think about it. Isaac, Yahushai, they're the same person. They were the same, same people, though, man. Throughout the reincarnation, though. So you think Isaac, being Yahushai, though, was going to give the righteous lineage to Esau, who is the wicked? That shit wouldn't make no sense, though. So whatever blessings that were meant on this chapter to be given, though, to each of them was through the Spirit, but it was righteous. Because how is it that Isaac was going to give, the blessings, though, the righteous lineage, though, through Esau, though? It wouldn't make no sense, though, man. You know what I'm saying, though? It was through the Spirit that he gave it to. It was like Isaac knew, though, man. Give it to Jacob, though, this blessing, though. You see what I'm saying, though? This blessing, though. Because how is it that he was going to give it to Esau, man? You know what I'm saying, though? Because, look, you give something to Esau, he fucks it up, though, like the earth. The earth is given to this fucking devil, man. And look how he's running it, though. So, if Isaac was going to give this blessing to Esau, he wouldn't even do the right thing. You see what I'm saying, though? Look at, man, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked, though. And look what he's doing with it. And Esau's running this shit, man. Esau runs this earth right now. Bad management, though. And you think with this special blessing, though, and the birthright, though, it wouldn't have been given to the right person, though. You know what I'm saying, though? To the right people, though. So Jacob was the man, though, man. And then you got Esau that was being a bitch, though, and was like, oh, I'm dying, give me this fucking, he's a bitch, though. But here's our forefather, Jacob, that wrestled with an angel just to get the name, man. To get that name, though. Israel. He fought, though. But Esau didn't even fight, though, for his birthright. He was being a little bitch about it, though. You see what I'm saying, though? So he don't got no integrity, though. He don't got no integrity or nothing, though. Because in the next chapter, when it says, I believe he says, Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And what did Esau do? See, look at 6, it says, Genesis 28 and 6, it says, when Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Paddan-aram to take him a wife from hence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother and was gone to Paddan-aram. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then when and Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau into Ishmael and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife. See, so it said Esau visited his uncle Ishmael family and married one of the Ishmael's daughters in addition to his wives he already had. See, his new wife name was Mahalath. She had the sister of Nebaioth and the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son. So this nigga just, oh yeah, because it says it was not very clear to Esau that his father did not like the local Canaanite woman. You know, but this nigga, this nigga doesn't like, you know what I mean? He doesn't follow the rules, man. At the end of the day, though. So, no, Jacob, it was meant for Jacob to get the blessing, though. You know what I mean, though? He did what he did, though. But like I said, going back to Genesis, the 25th chapter, this nigga sold his birthright, though, man. And it does go down like that. The firstborn, doesn't mean he's gonna get the the blessing like that, because look what happened with Reuben, though. Jacob, his first son was Reuben, though, but he didn't get that he didn't become the top, though, because remember, Reuben slept with one of Jacob's concubines, or something to do with that, so therefore, yeah, he was born first, though, but he didn't get that because Judah is the head of tribe, though. You know what I mean, though? Judah is the head tribe, though. You know what I'm saying, though? So it happens like that with Manasseh and Ephraim. Manasseh was born first, but Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom, though. You see? And that's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying, though? That's just the way it is. Because you see that with like brothers, right? Like, Steph Curry, he's older than his younger brother, though. And he's way better than him. But then there's two brothers that play basketball. The younger brother is fucking badass, man. Way better than the older brother at basketball. You see? So it's within a blessing, though, that you receive, though, man. You know what I mean? Just because you're the firstborn don't mean that, you know what I'm saying, though, that you're going to get the blessings or like we got biological brothers, right? We got biological brothers. I believe the brother Amawan, he's the youngest but he has brothers, though, and he's the youngest one. But his other brothers don't got this truth, though. But the brother Amawan, he does. You know what I'm saying, though? So it's just the way it is, man. Like I said, though, man. You be the firstborn, but don't mean you get the birthright within what you get. You know what I'm saying, though? Because in Mexico, they got the thing where if I'm supposed to have land over there in Mexico right now. You know what I'm saying? My grandpa had land, but his he has a demonic ass son-in-law, which is my tia's husband. I think got him drunk and shit, and he made him sign some papers, though. Now that land belongs to him, though. Well, he did some shit like that, but that's some shit that my father had to handle over there, though, because I really don't care, though. But whatever land that my grandfather had, though, and it's supposed to be my father's, though, and then it's supposed to be mine, though. You know what I'm saying, though? Because in Mexico, they got the thing is like the firstborn, the boy gets the possession, though, which, you know what I mean? That's you know what I mean? That's traditional through us as Israelites, though, man. Because in Mexico, like I said, like the firstborn, though, let me get that real quick, though. Let me Google it real quick. I believe it's something like that. Well, I know the father automatically gives it to the first son, though, man. But they're going by the law, though. But originally, like, the father will just give it to the firstborn, though, So things like that, though. But this is just bullshit, though. Yeah, because they're going by the law, though. By the law, though. But originally, the father is like the first son though, firstborn gets the possession though, gets the land though, you know. So it's been like that, you know. It's traditionally though. So anyways, I wanted to make this quick video though, you know. Hopefully it was edifying, you know. To the next time I say shalom.